Good evening, everyone. Hope it's slightly drier where you are than it is here. The river next to the house is very much up and flooding, which is always interesting. So I thought we'd have a quick look at these are hopefully going to be 3 locks that I'll do over the next week or two. Take them apart. Obviously the Defiant's already stripped down most of the way. This, well, it's not. It's got no name to it. I'm pretty sure that I could probably hunt it down. Again, I'm wondering whether it's a Walsall Locks one because of the slider at the front. But I might find out later. And this belfry that that Peter Lewis sent me. So this came from Chris Capoon. This is one I had previously, and this belfry came from Peter Lewis, the Irish lockpicker. So thank you to them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the fronts off these two here, and give them a bit of a clean up. This one is definitely quite manky. I know Chris said he could hardly get it to move. This one is very, very stiff, even though it has a key with it. So the first thing to do is for us to get rid of these nubs on this side and the heads of the rivets off this one. So I'll have a quick look at them off camera. I'll have a bit of a play, see what the best approach is, and we'll come back to it. Okay, so hopefully on camera this will be obvious. All we have on this one here is that you've got these lugs. Now these lugs are actually part of the side. So the side strip, and it is just a strip, it's a strip of metal that's been formed into place, and it's been initially punched or cut out, probably punched, with these little nubs on the side. The front plate and the back plate just fit over, and all that's happened is that these nubs have been pushed across sideways like that. So what I'm aiming to do to start with is I'll put the screwdriver here. I've got another punch somewhere as well, and we'll just give them a tap, try and bend them back into place, maybe a little bit of heat, push them back into place. What I'm hoping then I'll be able to do is take, and I've got some old really cruddy files for this, but if I'm desperate I'll go into the decent key making files. Just take off the edges, and once I've taken off the edges they'll basically come back to slightly smaller but the same shape that they were in the first place, vertical and rectangular, in which case I should just be able to pop the front off. So we're going to give that a try, see what happens. Okay, so a little bit of filing, and I think we might be close. So what I've done initially is, if you get the screwdriver and just put it in between the shackle and the ear and just give it a little bit of a tweak, you should be able to open up the gap down the side here. And if you open up the gap, you can get your screwdriver in, maybe a very slight tap with a hammer, and just twist the screwdriver. And then again you can just twist. Oh, there goes one. So that one just popped off quite nicely. I think this one will go as well. There we are, that's gone. My lord, Chris, I don't know what's inside this, but it might require the full gloves and face breathing equipment. And I'm just going to go around and again get to here, and that one's just popped off. I'm hoping, I haven't touched the shackle pin, I'm hoping that's just a pin straight through. No. Okay, so we've got all the others done. What I'll have to do with this one, again, just a little bit of filing around the outside there, and that should all pop off. Right, that took a little bit more effort than I thought it was going to, but I suppose when you look at it, the shackle pin hinge does tend to be a harder metal than the body in some cases, especially in this case where this is just sheet steel. So I haven't opened it. Spacer fell out, so this will be probably one of 2 spacers that replaces the 2 levers that aren't in here, because this is a 2-lever lock and it would normally be a 4-lever lock. We saw them in this belfry, which is why I'm sort of following the same logic. This one again has got these 2 very, very similar shaped spacers that take the place of the 2 levers that are not in there. So let's have a look at what Chris sent me. Wow. So let's bring this closer, because I think this is worth a proper view. Yeah, cast a bit more light on it. There we are. Okay, so what have we got? Well, we have a vast amount of rust. We have a second spacer. I'm just going to use the grips on this because they are actually rusted in quite hard. So there's our second spacer. Interestingly, we have 3 levers. It says it's a 2-lever lock. There are in fact 3 levers here. You can see, hopefully, if I show you on the side there, 3 levers. You can definitely see 3 springs, 1, 2, 3. We'll take the levers out and show you what they look like. So, lever number 1 is sort of mid-cut, somewhere in the centre there, so remember which order that comes in. Lever number 2 is welded in quite well. Here we come, slowly but surely. There we are, quite a low cut on that one. Hopefully you can see there. Very low cut lever. And here we have lever number 3 in a 2-lever lock. So I wasn't expecting that. I don't think anyone would have been expecting that one. As I say, it says 2 on the outside, but has 3 on the inside. Sort of the opposite to some of those fantasy locks that you sometimes get that say they're 4 levers and actually end up being 1 if you're lucky. So there you are. Hopefully that'll focus itself in now. There we are. So we also then have at the back here the bolt mechanism with its lever arm in the centre and the bolt at the top there. What we also have is well, I don't know how to describe that apart from what my aunt would have called manky. Yeah, I reckon that's been stuck soaking somewhere in rust. No wonder you couldn't move that around, Chris. It wasn't going anywhere, I have to say. So what we'll do, we'll clean all this lot up, and I reckon that'll go back together perfectly well. Okay. Right, we're back again. I'm part of the way through tidying this up, and I thought I'd better do you a bit of a comparison before I finish it all off. So, the levers were very rusted. They are steel, they're not brass, so they've obviously corroded themselves, not just picked up rust from elsewhere. So they've corroded themselves, so that hasn't helped with this lock. So what I've done, hopefully, let me put them on a board here. Hopefully you can see the difference. Obviously this one here is before I've worked on it. I haven't done very much, and this is after. All I'm really doing is taking off the surface rust. You'll never get these back to perfect condition, but if you can make them smooth enough to so that they don't rub against each other and cause massive amount of friction, then that's pretty much all you're after. Similarly with the front and back of this. When it comes to the insides though, I will, as you can see here, I haven't finished these. This is going to be a pain just because of where the pins are, but again I'll try and get this as good as I can, smoothed to at least a point where there's minimal friction and some level of lubrication will actually be beneficial, because at the moment, or at least prior to me doing a little bit of work on this, you could put as much lubricant in this as you wanted, but fundamentally it disappear into the rust. So that's about where I am at the moment. I'll carry on going and we'll have a look at the end product. Okay, so little bit of electrolysis later. It's not perfect. To be honest, I think I just need one a bigger tub because I'm using quite a small pot at the moment, and I think it just gets saturated too quickly with the iron rust that comes off. But all the inside's done, which is good. Most of the pins are nice and clean. There's still a little bit of surface rust on the back there and around the top here, but I think that's, you know, unless I was willing to let it sit in there for several hours in a very big tank, I think that's probably as good as I'm going to get. So I'm going to let it dry off. I'll give it another wire brush, and then that'll probably be it for reassembly. Right, so we're reassembled, all moderately shiny. I mean, you know, as shiny as you want to be for a working lock, really. All the levers now move freely. They're all perfectly good. As I said, 3 levers, interesting for a 2-lever lock. That's as much as I'm going to do with it at the moment. I have a plan for this lock. But I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I want it to be a bit of a surprise. So that's as far as I'm going with this lock at the moment. But there will be something lined up for hopefully early next year, with something a little bit different. Okay, thank you very much. I hope that was interesting. At least we saw the inside of the lot that Chris sent to me. That's about it from me. Good night, North Star.